What up, Vibers? It's your boy, Kai. Welcome to another episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. Today, we have an amazing guest, Dr. Simone Alicia, also known as the Self-Esteem Doctor. I love that name. That's amazing. Um, Dr. Simone is a award-winning motivational speaker and international self-esteem expert. She has degrees in education, business, metaphysics, you name it, she got it. She is also here to help us understand how to build and keep healthy self-esteem. And she's going to share some practical tips, some powerful insights that will make a huge difference in your life and the lives of the people around you. And then for all of the subscribers that are here today, you will get a little special section called Would You Rather, where I'll get to play a little game of Would You Rather, and that's available specifically for the subscribers on Instagram and on Facebook. All right, with that said, let's get ready to be inspired. Let's improve our self-esteem. Let's dive right in. Please welcome to the podcast, Dr. Simone Alicia. Hi, how are you?
Woo! Hello,
Did you like
thank
that
you.
intro?
I love that intro. And I'm actually thinking, man, I got really lucky, blessed, manifesting all the things to be sitting here with you. I am so pumped. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I cannot wait to pour into your audience. You guys, like, let's do this. Let's do this.
That really does mean a lot, and I'm always very fortunate to speak with people like you because you engulf yourself in this kind of thing every day, and I'm just sitting back just fascinated and learning a lot of different things because this mental health journey that I'm on, it's still fairly new to me. I really just started embracing it a couple years ago, and so I'm always learning something new. So when I saw the type of work that you do, I was like, let's go. I need to have you on right now because I know that I know that I'll learn a lot, and I know that the audience will learn a lot as well. So let's get started. If you don't mind, could you just tell the audience, the people that are watching or listening, tell us about your journey. What inspired you to become the self-esteem doctor, and then start a whole academy, for people to help people with their self-esteem? How did this whole thing happen?
Okay, y'all sit back and relax. No, I'll keep it
Sit back,
shortish.
relax. Here we go.
I'll keep it shortish, but I hope that in the
You're
telling
fine.
of this story, you find inspiration in the story itself, because the overarching message is you just don't know where things are taking you. You don't know how the strangest things will come together and where you'll land.
Hmm.
So I started off actually modeling and was like, I'm gonna be a star, I'm gonna be a model. And I was blessed enough to be so naive. I didn't really fall into the, oh, how is my body trapped? I was just like, are you gonna pay me to walk this straight line? Because if you're doing that,
Yeah.
like, I'm here for it, right? So it was, I think that was a little bit of blessing that led me to my journey. But what I did notice backstage when I would do runway shows, I heard the girls and even the guys sometimes backstage just ripping themselves apart. We're dressed and I'm all like just in
Hmm.
my little dee, right? Naive mindset, like, I'm gonna go down the runway. And I hear them like, oh, I look so this and I'm so fat, I'm so ugly and this, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, you gotta have some self-confidence, right? At
Yeah.
the same time, I was also teaching elementary school, and I would have 8-year-old kids coming up to me, particularly with the young girls, and they're like, am I fat? Am I this? Am I that? And I'm like, what is going on? Someone's got to teach self-esteem to y'all.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
parents, I would work on kids being really confident in their exams and like walking into the test like, I got it. And parents would be like, why isn't he scared? Like, why isn't he nervous? Because he has
Hmm.
tests coming up. I'm like, because I taught him, honey, and I taught him to be confident about this. It's like, how dare you, right? I'm like, someone's got to work on self-esteem. And I'm like, I'm seeing a little trend here in me thinking
Yeah.
someone should work on self-esteem. And I think it all came to a head when I came off the runway one day and there were a group of young girls. And as they watched us exit the runway, show was over, they were just like in awe, mouths dropped to the ground. I want to be like you. And I was like, oh, no, ma'am. No, you don't. No, 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 no. Because you should have heard them back. And I was like, okay, someone's got to work on self-esteem. And I'm like, oh, it's me. Okay, I get it now. This message is for
Right.
me. So that was the initial driving force towards the self-esteem journey. And that doesn't suggest I didn't have my own self-esteem stuff. It was just, I just wasn't a dominant thing in terms of like, oh no, what's wrong with me? It was more observing on the outside and then realizing I too will benefit from whatever this work is that I'm falling into. And that's how it started, without keeping you guys here for 2 hours with the whole story.
Oh no, it's all good. No, I think this is fascinating because I was going to ask, you like how your self-esteem was during that time as well, because uh like I'm not a model. My mom thinks I am, but I'm definitely not. But but I do know, like, a lot of my colleagues. I have a lot of friends that are in the modeling world, and just being a social media content creator, where people are often comparing themselves to what they see on social media from models or people that live a life that they want to live, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
I quite often see people struggle with self-esteem issues, including myself sometimes. So I was curious, like, for you personally, when you were in the modeling world, were there moments that you really had to wake yourself up and be like, hold on, okay, hold on, you need to work on this right now?
So in the modeling world, okay, so I'm going to give you a little insight into my personality, and I think that will help. So when I was
Yeah.
younger, I definitely could give you a list of things like I would like to change this about me. I'm way too tall, and my feet are too big, and my mom is this
Mhm.
complexion, and why am I that complexion? I mean, I just was able to
Yeah.
give you the list of things that needed to be like fixed or adjusted from a physical standpoint. And then also remember that self-esteem is not just targeting to physicalities. It's also, just how you feel about yourself, your abilities, your performance, your intelligence, all the things. So I think part of it was cultural. Growing up in a Jamaican household, it's like Jamaicans, we have a little,
Mhm.
we have a little bad reputation of being like, I'm amazing, right? So I think that some of that actually trickled down. Like you were just really taught that you could do anything, you could do anything. So I think that that was something that really elevated me very early on. And then even when I did have these moments of like, I wish this was different and I don't like this and maybe I can't do this, I really slipped very quickly into like a problem solver mode. I started to learn that about my personality. So it's not that I didn't experience what everyone else experienced. It's not that I'd never looked at myself and said, I wish this or I wish that, or I feel disappointed or scared or whatnot. It was that I flipped into this very quick problem solving mode that I was like, specifically when I was in sixth grade, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tall, like, and they're making fun of me for being tall. I'm entirely too tall. Well, what can I do as a tall person? Oh, I'll model. Problem solved. Like I was just like, we're done now. Next, like, and that was kind of like
Right.
the way my personality was kind of shaped. And so in the modeling world, I think I brought that same energy in with me. I'm like, just stay focused. Which again, personally, I try to take things to a little bit of a divine space, and I'm like, I think that was something embedded in me to take me on the journey that I would have to later be on in order to bring these tools and tips to other people, in order to look into my mind and say, how did I create the program? Because you'll learn later that I'm a neurolinguistic programming practitioner. How did I run this program that put me in problem solving mode so quickly that I didn't really sit in the problems? Like, how did I do that? And can other people do that? And it was fascinating to learn that it is something that can be duplicated. And that's essentially what I teach. And a fun story for everyone listening to kind of want to know how I exited the modeling industry. I was somebody kind of hooked me up with a meeting with an agent, a new agent at like another fancy swanky like little agency, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go in there and like get paid to walk a straight line again." Whoa,
Yeah.
let's go, right? And I stand in front of this lady, and she looks at me, and the look first is kind of like slightly pleasant, like welcome to the office. Then it was like, and now I'm working, so her face kind of, devil wears Prada on me, like, and
Yeah.
then she scanned me up and down, and she goes, you're pretty, but you're entirely too big. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, you would need, and she points at my hips with her fingers just left and right, like, ugh, like, what is that? She's like, you would need to lose major weight. And she pointed at her hips. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, and I looked down at my hips and I'm like, I'm good, I don't know, buck 15, 5'9". I'm like, what hips? But anyway, I was like, okay. The thought that actually went through my mind, Kai, which I know you guys are all gonna be like, no way. But it literally what went through my mind is, I can't get rid of these hips, honey. I'm trying to get married one day and have babies. I need these hips. Like that's what I'm
Those birthing hips, yes.
not saying it makes sense, Ty, but what I'm saying is that's what went through my mind that day. And I walked out of the office and I did not think twice. I did not go into should I lose weight? Do I have to that, and again, it might be cultural because growing up in a Jamaican household, you walk into grandma's house and it's like, oh, Simone, you need to eat, you look too skinny. And then you go literally the next day, oh, you get fat. Oh my goodness. Like I didn't what? It's 24 hours ago. So it's like And maybe that gave me a thicker skin and it just rolled right off of me. But I think it was advantageous as I learned that the brain can be programmed to have certain responses and default to those responses. And I realized somewhere along the lines, I picked up that program and I could teach it to people. I think that made all that whole journey really worthwhile to say, wow, this can be done. And I'm a living example
Right,
of it.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm really happy that you brought up the neuro linguistic side of things, because that was fascinating to me, because uh, you take a holistic approach to self-esteem, which
Yes.
I think is great. And so your approach blends neuro linguistic programming, metaphysics, integrative psychology. How did you develop that unique methodology? Because I can't imagine that being easy, right? How did you develop that unique methodology, and why do you believe it's so effective in this approch?
Ooh, Kai with the questions. That was so good. Okay.
I know. I
That was
like
so
it was I
I
told you
told you
this
this
was
was
fascinating to
fascinating.
me. I love it.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that passion that's coming through in the questions and in our conversation. So this actually helps me to extend the previous conversation of how I got into this. So when I first left the modeling industry and I left education, I decided to open up a studio where I kind of used everyone's fascination with modeling to inspire self-esteem. So you can come to my studio in Miami, you get on the runway, but we're not looking at your looks, we're not looking at your face, we're not looking at your hairstyle, we're not doing, makeup. And I mean, eventually we can do those fun shows, but primarily it was when you get on that runway, what is your posture? What are you thinking? How are you feeling? Are you able to embrace yourself? Are you running a dialogue in your mind that's saying like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Why am I up here? I'm so ugly. I'm so horrible. What is going on in your mind? And I started to focus on that. And there's a really quick story here that kind of really springboarded me into this direction where I started to put all this together. And that is a mom came in with a young girl who was sexually assaulted by three different boys when she skipped school in middle school. So
Oh
there's the
wow.
guilt for skipping school. There's the this, so many things. The mom walks in. Now, please mind you, this is just post modeling, post education, in terms of teaching, like elementary education background. And she comes in and she's like, "You're working on self esteem. My daughter has disappeared on me. She's a shell of a person. I need you to help her to feel good about who she is again after what happened to her." And I have to admit to you, I was like, no. I'm like, sexually assault? No, she is a therapist, man. Like,
Yeah.
no. And then she's like, no, we have a therapist. We have a psychologist. We're doing those responsible things, but we need more. We need her to really step into her body. And I was like, okay, I need proof that she's seeing someone else. I just don't want to be responsible for like playing around in this space. This is very serious to me. And once she was able to prove that she had a higher level of care, I was like, sure, let's get on the runway. And later on, what I learned was that action of her getting on the runway and integrating like the body movements and the posture with a new level of mind and a new level of thinking and integrating this concept of self that was shifting, what we did was helped her to actually embody this new, improved, healed version of herself. And she pretty much walked right into it on the runway. And within that session and the next that she came by, the mom was like, "You gave me my daughter back." We're standing in the middle of the front of my store in Miami,
Wow.
sobbing. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're
Yeah.
welcome. I don't know what I did. Like, this is so good." Later on, I found out I was using elements of neuroscience in that process. And so a friend of my mom, who's a clinical psychologist, she said, if Simone is interested in that stuff, she should study NLP. So from there, I was like, I'm interested in this stuff because I see what that just did when I have, quote unquote, no training in that direction, but my instincts were guiding me. So if I can blend my instincts with actual academia here and understand how this is working, then I can do it. So I took to NLP. It works really, really quickly in many cases. It's about restructuring the way your mind is working. It is about basically think of your cell phone and you tell me, hey, I want to upload like, I don't know, Candy Crush, and we just kind of type it in, upload Candy Crush, and there it
Yeah.
is, right? And we're like, I want to uninstall like whatever, Duolingo. I probably did that in the wrong order. We should probably keep Duolingo and but you know what I mean, right? We can
I do.
uninstall and install. And I started to utilize that and I saw, man, the results are outstanding. I was booked for like a year in advance. Kids, parents, teachers, adults, everybody wanted this service because I understood the language of the mind and how to get you to create these pictures that create these structural changes, if you will, in the way that your neurons, your neurological connections are happening. And you do that with very specific language and practice and repetition. And then I learned if you add a spiritual element to this, now you're really getting people to mass apply these concepts, not just, oh, I want to do better in school, or I want to, love myself better, or I want to trust myself to, get a raise at my job. But we can like really expand this when you have a little bit more of a divine spiritual connection, if that's your path, because we can do this without tapping that. But if it is, my goodness, I found that this was such a whole body experience. And I found myself bringing the modeling industry in also because, okay, how are you actually carrying yourself? How are you
Right.
walking? Right. And it just started to all come together. And I was like, well, I'm studying metaphysics now because I need to
Yeah.
know all the things. And it's just been beautiful. It's been beautiful.
That's really, I mean, it's wonderful how you found a way to merge a new passion with an older passion, to like that, because that's not easy to do, and you found a way to do
Yes.
that, which is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. And I remember in the early days after I had done the NLP courses, I started to integrate divinity, spirituality. Then it started to get even more. I started to learn more metaphysics and how I could get that even more integrated. And as that journey happened, I remember waking up one day and just had my son. I think he's like 4 weeks, 4 days, something like that old. And I literally just like sprung up and I'm like, I'm the self-esteem doctor. And my
Yeah,
husband's like,
yeah.
okay, congratulations. What are you saying? I'm like, that's the new name. I'm like, that's what I'm doing. And then I would tell other people, and the people would say to me literally, what is a self-esteem doctor? And I'm like, hmm. Okay, so I don't know exactly yet. I'm still building her. I'm
We're
still
gonna figure it
creating.
out. We're gonna figure it out.
We're on the journey, but
Yeah,
and I think that's a part of the spiritual part too, is like learning to trust, having a little bit of faith in whatever your belief system is. Just what can you have faith in, whether it's yourself, a higher power,
yeah,
earth, nature, God, whatever it is for you. Just like I leaned in on faith and mixed that in with the belief that I, as a person, as a human, could tap into that. And then I help with the reprogramming. I'm a product of my own work. I study and I condition myself and I run the programs that are advantageous to me. Right? If you find out you have a virus on your computer or on your phone, you are like, let's go fix this. Like you don't want
yeah,
that to stay. But as humans, when we've downloaded something that's not serving us, we tend to say, well, this is life. I'm stuck with it. I've had this since I was a kid. I want to be very respectful. There are real diagnoses. I don't want anyone to try to read between the lines and me saying there's nothing's not. There are real
yeah.
issues, real diagnoses. People are dealing with real things. Medication is real. Medication is needed. However, I think there's a way for us to navigate the mind, navigate the brain, navigate our programming that could help us to be a little bit more discerning about when is the medication needed and when is that diagnosis, applicable. And so I think we can kind of balance that out a little better than we are in society. But there is
Right.
no disrespect here to those of us who are dealing with very real diagnoses. Absolutely full respect. And when I work with you, I show that respect as well,
Right,
just to
right.
put that out there.
Yeah, I want to get into the nitty gritty here, because I want, because I know you just have this wealth of information that I know that my audience is really going to appreciate. And so I want to start with just a basic understanding of self-esteem,
Yes.
right? Because like you would think, oh, it goes without saying, I know what self-esteem is, but I'm like, I don't know if people really truly understand what it is and the role that it plays in their lives. And I know that sometimes people also, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm not the expert here, but I feel like that there's a difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. Is there a difference there? And if so, what is it?
This is a beautiful question, and I will be as helpful as I can.
Yeah.
I am somebody for whom flexibility is one of my biggest tools and assets. So I have learned to not be too rigid in the differentiation of the terminology. And there are others who are going to be very rigid and say, you better be
Hmm.
very clear that self efficacy, self compassion, self esteem, self love, self image, they're going to make these very clear distinctions. And I, again, fully respect that. I am not one that subscribes to a one size fits all paradigm. I do believe that there's many ways for us to approach things. So for me, what I have found is that some of these word terms are interchangeable. Even in some of my research, you'll see that some people use the words interchangeably. But if you
Hmm.
do want to make a kind of a distinction, I say that self esteem is the way we think and feel about ourselves. I even made a jingle about it. So when I got little kids in front of me, I'm like, the way I think and feel about myself. Right? I
Let's go.
may, I may or may not have had CEOs and college kids like banging on the tables, making beats, so I could sing that. Yeah, I did.
Listen, listen. I was the same the quick sidebar when I was in middle school. Um, we were learning the preamble to the Constitution, and so to help my classmates remember it, I made up a song.
Yes.
Don't ask me to sing it because I don't remember it, but but I don't remember how it went, like the song itself. But I like sometimes that kind of stuff helps, with not only remembering but processing exactly what it means. I love that
A
idea. That's great.
100%. That programming is with music, with sound, with visuals, analogies. Those things are huge. So I
Yeah,
love that. I knew we had this vibe. I
we're
knew
right
it.
there. We're right
Uh,
there.
right there, right there. So it's the way we're thinking and feeling, and the reason that I actually initially phrased it that way is because it gives us a little bit more power. When
Yeah,
someone just says it's like if I love myself or not, then you kind of just dismiss it. Well, I don't love myself, so end of story. I'm one with no self-esteem, and I was born like that, or it was taken from me, or whatever, what have you. And I said, no, I want us to have power in the usage of the idea of self-esteem. If it's the way I'm thinking, then through programming, practice, journaling, singing songs, meditation, there are tons of ways you can adjust your thinking. And I want us to have power over what we're calling our self-esteem. It is self-esteem. It's something we're supposed to drive. It's not other people esteem of self, right? So I want us to be able to be in the driver's seat. So when I said it's how we're thinking and how we're feeling, we start to learn that I'm in charge of how I'm thinking, which then affects how I'm feeling and then affects my outcomes. And then we also learned from someone like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's done extensive research in the area, that we can just elevate our feelings and emotions just sitting there. We don't even need an outside, impetus to like do that. So I love that definition for me, my audience, my students, my clients, because it puts us in the driver's seat. Then when it comes to confidence, to me, confidence is how we demonstrate our self-esteem. And oftentimes, I probably won't make a distinction all the time, but when asked to, I will say the self esteem is what's going on internally, and the confidence is what I'm showing externally. So we can put on a show. Baby, I've seen
mhm.
shows. I've said, get out of my face. I'm awesome. Blah, blah, blah. And inside, they're crumbling. And I'm like, okay, so
Yeah,
you got your confidence act
right. So it's
on
like a whole
a
facade in a
whole
way.
facade.
Yeah,
And those people are usually really tortured inside because they've now really set the bar high of how quote unquote confident and how high self-esteem, because that's how it's promoted. But
yeah,
inside they're suffering without any clue, and then people love the term fake it till you make it. And again, I'm not here to fight that. If you've said that and it fuels you and it works for you, go for it. Don't you dare change it.
right.
It's working
Or
for
if
you.
you need to do it to just survive the moment or just
That
to get through, like yeah,
exactly. Then
yeah,
you pull on the
yeah.
tools you have to, honey. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you're sinking. Don't grab the log, honey. Wait for the yacht. You better
Right.
grab that log. You better grab whatever. You grab the stick, the twig, the
Yeah,
straw, right?
yeah.
Whatever it is. So I'm not going to say not to use it. What I am saying though is sometimes when we get into that mode of fake it till we make it, we send a message to our mind that I'm faking, right? So as I put on the show, it's I'm faking. I'm faking. I'm waiting for the making. I'm making it, but I'm still faking.
Yeah,
And so it never really transcends into the subconscious and says, that was practice. So for me, I say, let's practice till we become it.
okay.
We're not faking, we're practicing. So I don't have it
Mm,
down yet, but I'm
right.
practicing. And then, of course, we
Yeah,
know after a certain amount of practice, we do improve, if not get, progress, perfection, whatever you want to call it next. But I like that terminology is so important for how we sell it to the brain. So self esteem is
right.
the way we think and feel about ourselves. And that confidence is how we kind of put that on display as far as my teachings go.
Right, right. What can people do just on daily? Like they wake up in the morning,
Mm,
say they do struggle with their self-esteem or whatever it may be. Um, what are some simple things that people can do every day
mm.
just to kind of slowly practice and to get themselves slowly into the world of building their self-esteem?
I am going to give you these two examples. The first one is going to be a little bit more of giving you the how and the why, a little bit more like
Hmm.
why you should do this. And then I'm going to tell you kind of like the what. That's a big
Mm,
element of my teaching is, not just be like, do this, do this. And you're like, why am I doing that? Is that going to work? Right. So I want you guys
yeah,
to have this concept. So NLP is really about providing new visions and new visual stimulus in the mind. I need you to have more options, right? I wake up, I have low self esteem. That's the option I see in front of me. I had low self esteem yesterday. I got low self esteem today. So here we go. I want you to have another option. not just as the low self-esteem option. So I'm going to give you a visual that you can carry with you. I want you to imagine that you're an ice cream cone. And if you are with a piece of paper and not driving, you can go ahead and draw a little cone towards the bottom of a piece of paper right now. Draw a cone and put your name in it. You put your name or put me or
Again,
myself.
if you're driving, don't do this.
Do
Save
not.
this. Wait.
Do not. Please refrain from letting go of the wheel. Okay.
Or at least pull over to the side of the road if you're not in a rush,
Exactly. We want you to rewind and rewatch
Yeah.
anyway. So please come back for this segment, for this portion. So you draw a cone on the bottom of the page, and I want you to understand that cone is you. And then what we want to do is fill yourself. You be in charge of filling yourself with a little something sweet. So this is where you now visualize or draw scoops of ice cream. And in each of those scoops, let's say you start with 3 scoops, you draw 3 scoops of ice cream. And in each of those scoops, you write something that would really fill you up today, really help you to just feel revved up and ready for the day. This is where we get into the conversation about affirmations. But I think affirmations have been so misused and mistalked about, and it's like this fake thing, and it was, I'm rich, I'm beautiful, I'm perfect. Great, thanks. I just said a bunch of words. I don't know what you're saying, right? Reach for something that actually helps you to feel good. Reach for something that makes you just feel like, wow, that is an amazing thought about myself. And be flexible about it. If you can't say, I am happy, then say, I love the thought of being happy. I love the thought of smiling more. I love the thought of today just being this awesome day. Wouldn't it be awesome if today was an awesome day? Start to fill yourself with the option. Because if you've already concluded the minute you open your eyes that the day is just not going to be the day, then it's not going to be the day. So I want you to understand that if you fill that ice cream cone with 3 scoops or more, and write something or imagine something really sweet that you're filling yourself with, and just actually imagine just bringing that into your body and feeling it. I'm worthy, I'm capable, I am able, I'm interesting, I'm ready, whatever those words are, and you just fill yourself. Now I want you to understand everyone else's opinion, that's a sprinkle on the ice cream. Those are the sprinkles. Now, every ice cream don't need no sprinkles, honey. So if you got your ice cream and you don't got no sprinkles today, that's good. That's fine. Because I got my mint chocolate chip, my vanilla, my strawberry. I'm good to go, okay? But if the sprinkles come, then you can say, well, that was nice. Thank you for that compliment from this person. But we need to not be reliant on sprinkles. Because imagine your cone empty and you're sitting there waiting like, sprinkle me, Kai, put sprinkles in. And you got an empty cone with sprinkles, accumulating on the bottom. That's not that yummy. I want the ice cream. Okay. So we don't want you to be empty, walking around looking for others to be the source of your self-esteem. So that's the first step. Realize this is my job. This is an inside job. These scoops are my responsibility. And I might be one who loves a sprinkle. Now, I'm not judging you, honey. You can love your sprinkles. You can go out and get sprinkles after that, but you have to be filled first.
Yes.
With that in mind and that visual, and even drawing it out each morning, you can wake up, if you're the type that likes to touch and be kinesthetic and learn that way, grab a journal, and it doesn't have to be this long paragraph every time. Draw your ice cream every morning, fill the scoops, and embody that, and then move throughout your day. The secondary piece of that is, as you move throughout your day, I like to tell people now, negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative things, they're a little bit forward. They don't wait for an invitation. Negative things are just kind of like, hi, I came over, knock, knock, knock. Anybody over? They don't wait for the invitation. They don't see the invite. They're just like, I'm here.
Right. They're just like, hey, we're here. Let's do it. Let's go.
I'm sorry. Did you not call? Because I'm staying for a little while. You're like, no, get out, right? What are you talking about? But with positive emotions, we actually have to go looking for them a little bit. And if you've started your day and decided that you're not issuing the invitation for the positive, you're not going to go out and search for it. You're just going to stick with whatever just came your way. I do believe you're setting yourself up for not the best day. I gave this example and I learned parts of it from someone else, and then I added to it myself. But someone said to me, imagine Easter eggs. You go out and hunting. If you just go out into a garden, now let's add to it. Let's say that this garden is toe up, right? It's just weeds and like broken branches and bushes. It's like a mess out there. It's like nobody wants to go out there. But you say, actually, there's like little treasures out there, whether it doesn't have to be like a religiously based holiday, but there's little treasures buried out there. When you go out into those weeds with the mindset of, I'm coming back with some treasure. Now you look into that garden totally differently, because you're not there to assess the weeds and to say, man, my garden has more weeds than everybody else. And this is like, so this sucks. And this is terrible. Instead, you go with the mindset of, let me go hunting for these treasures. And when you come back at the end of the day with a basket full of treasures, it's because you looked for them. And so in life, sometimes life is that backyard full of weeds. I am not the one that's going to tell you, go into the backyard full of weeds, stare up in the sky, and just say, I have treasure. I have. No, 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 no. We're not faking. We're not pretending. We are searching. We are choosing. We are deliberately grabbing life and saying, I'm going to pull from you what I can to feel good, because negativity showed knocked on my door this morning. I did not invite it. So I'm out here inviting positivity in on purpose. And when people say to me, how are you so happy? Like, is it real? I'm like, I hunt for my happiness. I didn't wake up and get more than you got. I just went out into my backyard and scraped that thing clean because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I want treasures.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's in our hands to do that.
I love this. Well, first and foremost, now I want ice cream, and like, and the ADHD in me is like listening. I'm like, this is a great analogy, and knowing dang well that right across the street from me, not even a block away, is like my favorite ice cream shop. And now, like, after we're done here, I hope you know I'm going there,
I hope you
and
think of me when you eat the ice.
I will.
Everybody.
I will. And let me, you want to know something really interesting? This is what's going to be really funny about this. Whenever the ice cream shop that's up the street from me, it's one of those like make your own like
Ooh,
things, right?
yes, yes.
So, but what's funny, we were talking about sprinkles just now. I put
Oh gosh, no, you don't. Tell me.
I put rainbow sprinkles in first,
You did.
and then the ice cream, and then sprinkles on top. That way, when we get down to the bottom,
Surprise.
there's sprinkles there.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't believe in a one
Mhm.
size fits all. So there is nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. But we have to get back to, did you put ice cream in the cone at some point?
So okay, so I can't do cones. I do
You
cups.
do.
Don't judge. Don't judge.
I'm sorry. I would like
I
to
know.
modify my previous
I
statement. Please draw a cup or a cone on your paper. There is no reason for me to just isolate this cone business. Okay.
no, but even still, that I love the way that you help people visualize this, because if there's one thing that I've learned being a content creator, helping people, like giving people something to think of in this regard, helps them, helps me process a lot easier. And you understand what the concept is, you understand what the benefits of it is. And I always encourage other content creators to just do things like that to help people, because that's ice cream's a universal thing. you know and the way that you just described this is fascinating. And I want to go back to the negative side of things, like we were talking about how negative talk can just manifest itself sometimes, right? So obviously when it does show up at the door, it just kind of happens, right? And it could be damaging in a way if it's not managed correctly. If somebody finds themselves inundated with negative self-talk from themselves, not necessarily from others, but from themselves, what can they do? What should they do in that instance?
That's such a beautiful question, and that's something I definitely address when I'm doing one-on-one coaching, or if somebody asks in like a one of my presentations that I'm doing. So I'm going to share with you that NLP, because it relies on the visual cues that we're having inside of our mind, and it does
Hmm.
respect our way of seeing the world. Some of us are a little bit more auditory. If you just tell
Hmm.
me something and I got it, right? Or someone might be more
Hmm.
visual, like show it to me because I can't. If you tell me, it's like through the one
Hmm.
ear and out the other, right?
Yeah.
And some people are very kinesthetic. They need to get their hands on it. They need to do it, practice it, write it down before it really sinks in. So with knowing what your modality is, like what's stronger for you, and then knowing the secondary piece that you can create this imagery in your mind to help you deal with things that are happening. When you combine those two, you can actually kind of gear and direct your mind and give your mind, quote unquote, something to do with the things that you're hearing or seeing. So for example, if I have a situation that happens to me, and this might be better with a coach when you're first starting off, so just keep that in mind. But I will use this on myself as well and say, if let's say I have a thought in my mind, I don't know, I'm nervous about something or something happened yesterday and it's stuck in my head. I am quite visual and I have kinesthetic tendencies also, but I'm very visual. So when I go into my mind and that picture is there of like, I don't know, something bothersome happened yesterday. I literally,
Sure.
instead of
Mhm.
just looking at that picture and being like, well, what if that does happen? What if that, I can't believe that happened? Why did that happen to me? I don't deep dive into the picture itself and trying to analyze and whatever, but I know my brain wants to do something with that picture, because the idea, like, don't think about it. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's
Right.
just not helpful.
Hmm.
No offense, and thank you to all
Hmm.
who've tried it. We sometimes just say things to help each other out. I'm sure it's come out of my
Yeah.
mouth too, but we've got to be very clear. Don't think about it. Forget
Right.
about it. Like,
Right.
I thank you so much. I tried that, but what
Why didn't
else
I
you
think
got,
of it?
right?
Oh man.
So
Oh.
what I do is I actually do something with that. So here's the image in my mind, and if I am very visual and very kinesthetic, I will literally imagine every time that picture comes, I will grab an eraser and just like imagine that I'm a mental eraser, excuse me, mental eraser, and I'll
Mhm.
imagine that I'm erasing it. If you're old school, not like me, of course, and you picture a
No.
chalkboard, I would never. I'm way too young to do a chalkboard.
What is a chalkboard?
What
I
is
don't know
that?
what that is.
I don't even know.
Tell me more.
But fine if you need a dry erase board or you need a computer screen with a backspace, whatever it is, you
Right.
literally give your brain the job of, let me imagine that I just erased that. And it's going to come back. I guarantee you it's going to come back 17 trillion times. I want you to pull out the chalk, the eraser or whatever it is, and erase it 17 trillion and one times. Because that way you get to address the picture. You don't have to go, I'm not thinking about it. And like,
Right.
yes, you are. No,
Right.
I'm not. Yes, you are. You're
Yeah.
crying. Like, oh, okay, wait, I am. Okay. And I'm going to give you a very specific example so it's really tangible for you to bring it home. So I had a client a long time ago, and it was a whole mess with like a husband and a wife and divorce and who paid for what.
Yeah.
It was a long, messy thing. And so the wife got sessions, and the husband said, no, 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 I don't want to get too deep into it. But I remember feeling so uncomfortable that this husband was like almost not threatening, but like to the threatening stance, like she shouldn't have paid you. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know anything about that. This is y'all thing. I just wanted to help your wife and your daughter. So I started to feel a little nervous about it, and every time he came to mind, I felt like I was kind of giving this picture power. It was like he was coming to my mind as like this big scary, like, I'm
Yeah.
a very wealthy person, I'll put you down. I'm like, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
I can't have this energy about me. So the spiritual piece is also energy. So I had to manage my energy. I'm like, how can I handle this when he comes to mind? Like, what should I do? And in this case, I took something a little bit from some biblical inspiration where it's like, love the people, whatnot, whatnot. And so I
Hmm.
imagined literally that there was like hearts, which represent love, being sent to me like from the heavens, from the top, crown chakra, and then it
Hmm.
would come into my heart, and I was like overrun with like this heart loving feeling. And then I imagined sitting and just throwing hearts at him. Every time I thought of him,
Hmm.
I was just throwing hearts, throwing hearts, throwing hearts. And I would imagine that he would be encompassed in this bubble of hearts, so that if he
Right.
were to like reach out to try to quote unquote harm me or hurt me or say something, it would actually push the bubbles of hearts that I surrounded him. That's what would come to me. Only love can come to me, because
Mm.
he is wrapped like layers deep in hearts. So as soon as he goes like this, a heart comes back to me, and he goes like that and that and heart. And I got this vision so powerfully, lovingly embedded in my brain that every single time this person's face or name came to mind, I was just like hearts, 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 and it
Mm.
felt so at ease, and I felt so at peace. So I managed my energy. And of course, I'm a definitely manifesting type. That's where my brain goes. So I'm like, I'm no longer aligned to being fearful of what this person may be thinking. So I'm not going to attract any more fear from him, because I'm not on that vibration anymore. I am now
Right.
clearly on a vibration of love. It's not that I loved him, not that I loved the situation, not that I felt love towards the whole thing. It was just like understood that the power of love could surround the situation and temper it for me. And so that was my vision. So anytime he comes to my mind, if anyone says anything, if I come across paperwork, there's this automatic hearts just shooting out of my chest instead of worry, fear. And I feel very at ease. And of course,
Right.
if you're a law of attraction or a manifest person, then you know that situation has been pacified completely, and I have not heard or seen anything of it. And if it comes, I just keep on throwing hearts. So
Yeah.
that's a combination of those methodologies for me, and using NLP to create a vision that is not painful. Otherwise, I would have sat there and tortured myself. What if he
Hmm.
does this? What if he says that? He's really powerful. Like, what if the wife? What if they divorce? What if he tries to?
Yeah.
And I would have gone crazy with the negative what ifs, just like all of us can. I just use the tools a little differently.
That's amazing. I read something when I was prepping for this that I want to get your insight on, because it was really fascinating to me. Because like whenever I think of like self-esteem, I'm always like, you can't challenge that ideology. Like that's a pretty like normal thing to say, yeah, go, hoorah, kind of thing. But I was reading this comment on a post about self-esteem, and they said I'm paraphrasing here, that too much self-esteem leads to narcissism.
Mm.
If the person that wrote that is listening or watching right now, how would you respond to that?
I would say that we will all benefit from having a more genuine and authentic understanding of what love really is.
Hmm.
And when we talk about self esteem and the way I'm thinking about myself, the way I'm feeling about myself, essentially for me, this all surrounds the element of love,
Mm.
loving and compassion. That's why I'm not that quick to separate all the terminologies because I think they all really blend well together. And
Yeah.
when we're talking about love, love is not competitive, comparative, not hateful, not hurtful. Love really is, I feel so good about who I am and what's going on in my day. And when you are genuinely in that state, you want to share it. Just like if you get really good news, you're like, you're covering your
Yeah.
mouth, like, I should stop. I
Yeah.
don't want to tell everybody right now. Like, you are chomping at the bits to share it and to spread it. So when we're talking about genuine positive impressions of self, especially if you have that tied to any type of divine, true, spiritual, elevated, broader perspective of self. It's all from a place of love. And when I'm feeling
Yeah.
really good about me and I feel like I look good, I sound good, I'm smart, I can figure things out, and I see that you're struggling, I want to spread that with you. I want to be like, but
Right.
hi, you look great too, and you're smart too, and you can get it too, and like we can do this because that's genuine because it's from inside. Now, when people say too much self esteem or too much confidence, I usually think that's when we've entered the realm of low self esteem and no
Right.
confidence. And we're now kind of like overcompensating and trying to put on that show. And like, well, I'm better than you, honey. It's not my fault. I have self esteem.
Right.
And
Right.
like, that's why everybody, okay, honey, we know that you're struggling.
Right.
We know you're struggling because that's not what love looks
Yeah.
like at all. Like, so
Right.
that's what I would probably say. And it may be a matter of semantics and maybe I'm not using the same words that they would like to use, but ultimately this is a work of love and this is a work of becoming your best self to be a contributor to the planet. I'm going to offer you a visual for that too because I want you guys to have
Yeah.
this in your mind. I want you to imagine that you came on this planet as a seed. And when you look at that seed just on the outside, you really can't see, for the most part, what the seed's going to become unless you're familiar with, all the seeds. But for you're not sure what it's going to blossom into, but what is true is that it has to blossom. And in order
Hmm.
for it to blossom, you have to water it. You have to give it the right conditions. You have to put the sunlight on it. And to me, that is the nurturing of self. You've got to nurture self. And then what happens is as you nurture that seed thoroughly, it becomes the fullest expression of what it's meant to be. That is the love that you're pouring into that seed. Now, let's say it's an apple seed, just for added visual. If that apple seed says, I don't want to be arrogant, so I'm not going to water myself. I'm not going
Hmm.
to get in the sunlight because I don't want to be too big. I don't want to be the biggest apple tree. I don't want, you're not, right now you are a seed. You have not fully expressed what you came here to become. So it is advantageous. And I almost feel that it is our job and our right and our responsibility to water ourselves, to nurture and love that self, to hold ourselves in high enough regard and high enough esteem that we water and we become the fullest expression. And now, when that apple seed blossoms and continues to grow into a mighty, beautiful, healthy apple tree, who are those apples for, Kai? Who are those apples for? Those apples are for everyone else on the planet. It's for everyone. I am not feeding myself and growing my apples so that I can eat my own apples. I'm literally nurturing myself so that
Mm.
as I become that full expression, I am now of service to the world because now I will feed the people with what I've become. And
Mm.
you've become the watermelon, you've become the strawberries, just for a visual
Yeah.
again. And we will feed the people together because we have nurtured self. That is the power of working on self-esteem. It starts off as a journey of self, but it is not a
Yeah.
selfish journey. It is a journey for the world when we do it
I
right.
love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Okay.
okay. Nice. You know what you're talking about.
A
You know
little
what you're
bit.
talking about.
A little bit. Let's be apple trees, y'all, and let's
I know,
flourish,
right?
right?
And so all of this being said, you created an academy for people to get even more in-depth help, advice, insight in regards to self-esteem. Can you talk about your Self-Esteem Academy, and how it can actually help people that that decide to become a part of that.
Oh, I love that question. Thank you. So when we talked about the negativity kind of coming to find you, and we have to kind of go out and like knock on the door of of positivity, excuse me, like, come on,
Yeah.
can you come over instead, please? Because I got this
Right.
fool here. I don't want,
Right.
I think that the academy is one of those places that you can turn to tune into positivity, to tune into tips, tools, resources. I really pride myself on teaching the things that are not taught very often. I love giving analogies that people have not heard. I love using tools and resources that people are not familiar with, even if they branch out a little bit beyond NLP and beyond metaphysical science. I want you to know that these tools exist because people are studying them. They're getting results from them. And it's not maybe not fully proven in the traditional scientific community, but there is data supporting that these have positive results and they're working, that these have efficacy. They're working. So I wanted to create something where people would be able to access them without having to come through me in a one-on-one capacity. I was really swamped with a lot of clients, which was beautiful. It was me stepping right into an answered prayer. So I was not complaining. I also
Hmm.
just wanted to say, how can I get this to more people faster without having to sit in a one-on-one, And so I put a lot of tools and resources in the academy. I have an entire free library to get you started. So you can just get a free account and go into the free library, poke around. And if you love it, then you'll see what other courses and classes you want to invest in. And if not, you can stick with the free library and get a world of knowledge. And the idea here is 24/7, anywhere you are in the world with internet access, I want you to be able to have resources. I had a client, she was prone to panic attacks. We talked about something called emotional freedom tapping. One day, she said it was like 1, 2 a.m., she started to feel that feeling coming on. She logs on, goes to the resource we talked about, because I can also make recommendations to you for free, give you a free plan of what you can use based on what your needs are. And she went to the resource we gave her, which again, at the time was the emotional freedom technique or tapping. And she said she started tapping at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. She's like, it never turned into that full blown panic attack that it usually does. She's like, I don't know how this works. Someone, I'm like, the video's there, honey. You can watch how it
Right.
works. I gave you no, I'm just kidding. And she was just like, I just didn't expect after all these years of dealing with something and going to so many different providers that I could log onto your academy and like really basically, take myself off the path of a potential really huge panic attack in the middle of the night. And when she said that to me, it was like all the affirmation that those were my sprinkles, honey. I was
Hmm.
sprinkled from the top to the bottom. I was
Yeah.
like, this is what
Yeah.
it's for. So it is a resource there for you to be able to thumb through. Some things are more robust, some things are for kids, for parents, some things are for your physical appearance and how to project confidence, and some things for how do you create that blueprint in your mind to help you to live that life you want to live and feel the way you want to feel about yourself. So a little bit of everything is in there for everyone. And it's really just a work of love. I hope the minute you click it, you feel just love
Yeah.
pouring into you because that was the way it was designed.
That's amazing. And for anybody that's watching or listening right now, that's like, wait, I want that. I want to check that out. I'm gonna I'm gonna include the link in the description of this podcast. So all you have to do is click that link. It'll take you straight there, and you can learn more about this academy and how it can help you. Because I feel like this can help a lot of people. Clearly, it can help a lot of people. Um, this is great. You do know I'm gonna have you back now because I have even more questions and comments and all that kind of stuff.
I need my shower fed.
And like legit, like you're amazing, and I really appreciate you being here. For everybody that's listening again, if you're a subscriber, you are going to get a little special thing that we're going to record right after we're done here. So you can subscribe on my Instagram profile or on Facebook. It's only 99 cents a month, and you're going to get fun videos like that and other mental health related videos and tips and tricks and processes and all that that you won't find me posting anywhere else. So it's only 99 cents a month. So make sure you go subscribe there. Dr. Simone Alicia, um, as we wrap up, again, thank you for your insight, your knowledge here, because it truly is fascinating, and I think that like it certainly helped me. I know it's definitely going to help a lot of other people. What final words of wisdom would you like to share with the people that are listening or watching right now about self-esteem? What is something that you want, like, if they walk away with anything from this, what is that one thing you want them to walk away with?
I want you to walk away knowing that the power is in your hands, regardless of the past, regardless of the old programming, which may still be rattling in your ears as we speak. You are not stuck and unhelpable for eternity. You're in a place in time right now, and I recognize the difficulty. And I acknowledge and encourage you to release that feeling and be in that feeling in the moment, but to allow yourself not to tie the present moment of negativity into your entire perceivable future. To give yourself the out to say, you know what, there are tools for me, and I'm going to start using those tools. And just like when you are downloading or uploading a new app on your phone and you have to watch that little circle before it fully uploads,
Right.
this is us clicking the button and the upload has begun. Do not shut the app off or shut the phone off before we fully upload it. Let it keep on uploading. And you do that with your language. You do that by listening to the resources Kai is bringing to you. You do that by reading books. You do that by paying attention to the news you're listening to and the content you're talking about, and really help it to be in alignment with where you say you're going. Click that upload button like you did today mentally, and let this fully download, if you will, or upload into your psyche, into your spirit, and let it run its course, because there is something new out there for you, something better, something more improved, and you are deserving of it no matter what you've been told in the past. And it is here for you. If you tuned in today, then you have stepped your foot on the path to something
The
new.
first step.
Just keep going. You got it.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Honestly, thank you again for that knowledge. I'm gonna have you back. So we're friends now. It's official. So like you're like you can't leave my life now.
I'm not. What are you talking about? I already
Yeah.
knew this.
Like,
I was ready.
that'll hurt my self-esteem.
I could never do that. How anti me, or how anti me. I love this, and I want to also just give you a shout out and thank you, number one, for creating a platform like this where people can come to get this type of information, not only from me, but obviously all of the guests you've had on, that you can create this platform where people can have a voice, where you're asking really dynamic, beautiful questions that get us to a deeper level of thinking, so that everyone tuning in can actually feel different, be different, have different as a result of tuning in with you. So you're doing really big work here. And I just want to thank you. I feel so gracious to be a part of it and to sit on the other end of this interview with you. Like, yeah, I'll be back.
Yes, no, I really appreciate that. I received that, and thank you. Like honestly, that's that means more than you'll ever know. So like honestly, thank you. My friends, thank you for listening, my vibers. I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Dr. Simone Alicia. Um, be sure to check out the links inside of the description of this podcast, because it'll, if you're like, hey, I like this person, I want to learn more, I'll include the links to all of her social media handles and the academy website. All that kind of stuff will be in the description of this podcast. And also, again, if you are not subscribed, you should subscribe, because you're going to get some special content. With that said, my friends, thank you again for watching and for listening. As always, much love, good vibes, and I will talk to you later. Bye.